And what's going on, everybody? I'm Adam. This is Open Late. And tonight we are opening some Mythic Legions Deluxe Legion Builders figures. We've got three. I've got the Half Giant, which I'm going to do last because he's sort of my most anticipated in the line. We'll get this big antlered head on him, which is going to look awesome. I've also got this this Deluxe Legion Builder Goblin, as it says right there. Well, Deluxe Goblin Legion Builder, as well as this Deluxe Dwarf Legion Builder. So some pretty cool figures. Really excited to get these guys out of the packaging. Again, just like a lot of the other stuff that I've got, I've been sitting on this stuff for a while, far too long, to be honest. So I'm just really excited to get it unboxed out of the package and on the shelf. I'm gonna do, for anybody that's not really familiar with Mythic Legions, I'll just sort of show you how easy it is to sort of swap parts. And by that I mean I'm gonna do like a couple really, really quick and simple swaps, just to sort of show you how easy it is and what's potentially possible. Immortan Jojo says, it's toy time. It is indeed. Thank you for joining me. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to start with the Goblin. Then we'll do the Dwarf. Then, like I said, we'll do the Half Giant. So Mythic Legions comes in these great, bubble card packaging, so you can see the figure from kind of every angle. We get kind of a bio card in there, and when I sort of unbox this, I'll take that out and sort of show you what that looks like when it's all taken apart. They're all going to have their faction symbol on one side. I'll do these at the same time so you can see. So we've got an Arethyr figure in the Goblin and a Leodysseus figure in the Dwarf. And then on the other side, we get a picture and or a bio for when they're named characters. You get a bio. And then the back has this beautiful art from Nate Barch, which just looks really, really nice. So in this particular case, it's the same art on all three of them because they are from the same wave. We get some Mythic Legions lore on the back there, and then pictures of all the figures in the Deluxe Legion Builders wave. So that's kind of typical of Mythic Legion's waves. Now, just because I thought of it, and because I can, just wanted to show you what a figure looks like that is a named figure. So a named figure comes in the exact same cards, exact same box. It's going to have the faction symbol. In this case, it's Alithia. This is Valak. So with Valak, because he's a named character, he's going to come with a bio on there. So that's the difference between a Legion builder and a named character. You just get more info on the side of that packaging. This is from the Alithia wave, so you see all the figures from the Alithia wave there, with slightly different artwork for the Alithia wave. So as opposed to the Legion Builder wave, which looks like that. It might be interesting to note that the art on the other side of the card is the same for all waves, if you were at all curious. Miko Darkblade says, love the Goblins and the Dwarf. These are the two first I dared to paint myself. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'll get into that sort of detail of this wave once I get these guys out of the box as well, because there's, I guess I have sort of a nitpick about these, or a complaint about sort of this whole wave, but I'll get there in due time, because I think my nitpick actually kind of leads to opportunity and potential. But anyway, the other nice thing about what Mythic Legion, or what the Four Horsemen Studios does, is this is collector friendly packaging. Like, this is the most collector friendly packaging. To get them out of the box, the plastic on or the card on the back isn't taped at all. It just has these little plastic tabs. So you just flip the tabs underneath the card, and then the card just slides right out. And that's the art on the inside. So you can see, you know, you got a demon, you got a skull here, you got some sort of fire coming up out through some rock, the little goblin down here, dragon up at the top. Four Horsemen Studio. Well, is it the Four Horsemen Studio logo or the Mythic Legion? I think it's the Mythic Legion's logo. That right there. Four Horsemen Studios. That's their logo up there. It's sort of the 4H. But anyway, so that art is on all of the cards. The inside card and then the outside card is what's going to be different from one wave to the other. But the beauty thing about these is you can just slide it right back in, pop it right back in, and you're good as new. Accessories come in a bag. Figures come in the bubble. There's usually one accessory sort of in the card, and then they are twist tied in. I have cleverly pre-untied the twist ties because it does take a minute and it's super boring to watch somebody do that. So what I'm going to do is just get these guys out and do a super quick review for them. And then the other thing, you know, like I said about this collector-friendly packaging, these all come out, and that's just super easy to sort of pull out. So you can save a few of the cards, a few of the bubbles, whatever sort of works for you. If you're trying to save some space, you know, you throw away more. If you've got lots of space, you can save more. It's entirely up to your discretion. I go so far as to keep like even these twist ties, which is weird because I'm never going to sell these figures. It's just I don't know why I do it. But anyway, just as I popped the figure out, as I said, I'm just going to sort of show you here. So that just goes right back in, and we've effectively got, you know, brand new, good as new packaging with the figure out. As I said, the accessories all come in a bag. He's got a whole bunch of stuff. I don't keep the bags, but I keep the twist ties. Go figure. I don't know. This is I'll go over the accessories first, just because they're all sort of right in front of me. So one of the things that you get in the little accessory bag is going to be the pauldrons, which seems like a weird thing to not get on the figure, but not everybody's going to run the pauldrons. You might swap it right out of the package. You might have something else already set aside. You might want to monkey with it beforehand. You know, check out the articulation. So the arms, you know, go up, not a crazy amount, but you do get full rotation. They have pretty good articulation. There is a single jointed elbow, but that elbow also pivots. There's also a pivot or joint in the gauntlet, and then another pivot in the wrist, as well as articulation in the wrist. So you get a full range of motion. You can pose these guys up really, really well, despite the sort of double joint that most people sort of think they want. I don't really, you know, there's a couple poses. If you've got an archer, double jointed elbow would be nice. That's sort of the only time that I ever think to myself that I would prefer to have, you know, different articulation in the arms. At least they do come out a little bit sticky sometimes. I did have to just sort of unlock that head a little bit, but that's on a ball joint as well, and you get really good left and right, decent amount of up or down. Now this collar is a removable piece as well, and when I sort of get to that point, I'll show you. You could pop that collar off and actually improve the articulation. The Articulation in the legs, again, is, you know, there's plenty of it. There's plenty of rotation. There's plenty of articulation. Single jointed knee, but again, you get pretty good. You get pretty good motion, and for these armored characters, especially, you know, the articulation. You wouldn't have great articulation with a ton of armor for the most part, especially if you're just a little fella like this guy. Compared, of course, to the half giant like that guy. He comes with these cool blades. They are sort of a female and a male end, if you can see that. Hold on, let me just. Female and a male end, so they plug in to create sort of a cool bladed staff weapon. This is one of my favorite weapons in the line. You know, we've got it in a bunch of different colors, in a bunch of different waves, and it looks good in just about every color. But you can separate it and sort of dual wield the blades as well. These are cool. You can actually get. I'll go over that in a sec, actually, and then I'll talk about that when I get there. He gets this kind of wooden bone, jagged, rough, raw looking knife, sword, blade. I don't know what to call it. But that's a really, really cool piece as well. We get this turtle shield looking sort of turtle shell looking shield with, you know, spikes on. This is unique as well because this will peg into his back, which I'll show you in, well, actually there's no, I can plug it right in. So he's on the back, you can see there's 3 holes. So the 2 top ones are for the pauldrons, and then the lower one is for things like that. So that'll plug right in, which is kind of cool. It's the only shield that does that. Most of the other shields just have a little peg, as this one also does. You can see these little pegs to the side of that big peg, maybe not. Can you see them? These ones right here. So you get your little handle, and that'll plug on there, and then that becomes your shield as well. Kind of rib cage thing going on in here too, just to represent that, again, that this used to belong to a turtle. And I've seen some really cool customs where people have made Ninja Turtle Mythic Legions customs with this shield, which looked really, really good. The last accessory that it comes with is this strap. So this will go sort of across the chest or around the waist, whichever you prefer. And as I said, you can actually get these blades in there. And I know this because I've done this on a couple figures, because I love these straps and I love this blade. And yeah, so that can go like on his back, which is just a cool look. Or at least it is to me. You don't have to agree with me. My ego's not that big. Left Coast says BC Sasquatch Man plays with dolls. He does indeed, as do I. He also says let them breathe. Absolutely, man. Toys are meant to be played with, so get them out of the packaging. Let's move on to the dwarf. Let's get these all out of the package so that I can sort of show you the pop and swap sort of options that we've got. Again, we've got, you know, the bag of accessories. And again, I took the liberty of untwisting these twist ties for the sake of time. It's so much easier to get these guys out when you've already got the twist ties untwisted. There's a funny inconsistency to how they do the twist ties. So sometimes they're easy to get out. Sometimes they're quite a bit harder. And it seems to be completely random. So the first accessory in the pack is this dwarven hammer. I think in here there's going to be another piece that attaches onto it. So let's just get all this stuff out of the bag and see what we're working with. see what we're messing with, see what we're playing with. So as I said, normally the shields just have a peg. You can see that that's got a peg there. It comes with the handle. The pegs are a little bit fragile, so if you are storing the shields, store them without the handle. Just pop the handle off, store them separately. You'll be fine. You'll be good to go. And again, we get the pauldrons in there. Again, we get the strap in there. As I suspected, there's the other piece to this dwarven axe. It should, as most Mythic Legions things do, should just fit in there nice and snug, nice and easy, just like that. And then we've got this cool dwarven hammer. Now I wonder if you run it the other way. Nah, I don't like it like that. I don't like it like that, so I'm going to swap it back down so that it goes down like that. Really nice detail work and sculpt work on the whole thing. You know, the whole thing is sculpted. There's you know, even sort of underneath the hammer face. I don't know, is that what it's called? You know, has these kind of rivet things on it, as does the back. Just a cool piece. You don't see a ton of those either. Just kind of like that turtle shell. Then he also comes with this sort of double-bladed axe, relatively short, but so is he. Because he's a dwarf. Get it? And then last but not least, he comes with these horns. These two horns are going to mount on his helmet. I'm going to try to do that. See how easily they pop in. If they don't pop in easily, I'll just set them to the side. And again, as with most other things, there's no need to use force. If you're patient, just use a little bit of heat, whether that's a heat gun, a hair dryer, some hot water. All this stuff pops in really, really easily. But these went in really easily, so that's that. I'm really nitpicky, so I'm gonna, like, as soon as I've done this video, I'm gonna take another look at this and like double check the angle on the horns and like measure it and get like a compass out and like make sure the angles are all right. But I won't bore you guys with my my obsessive compulsiveness. But yeah, there you go. There's the dwarf. So the dwarf and the goblin, as you can see, more or less the same figure. The big difference is a couple of the accessories. So the belts are different. The little loincloth pieces are different. The heads are obviously different. But the arms, the legs, they are the same. Now, these do have different torsos. This was the sort of original armored torso. This is a more recent armored torso. Now, as far as these go, and I'm going to change my angle here so that I can show you what I'm talking about in better detail. Bear with me for a moment. You had plenty of time to stare at that giant, so I'm just going to bring this down so we can bring this down to these little folks level here a little bit better. Come on. It doesn't want to sit where I want it. All right, so sort of set aside all their accessories. Take a quick look at these guys. So like I said, if you're not familiar with Mythic Legions, the reason that I mentioned that they're sharing parts is because all Mythic Legions figures, if they are the same size body, and these are what are referred to as 1.0 bodies, will have interchangeable parts. So you could pop the arms out, you could pop the hands, you could pop the heads, so on and so forth. What I'm going to do is swap the heads and swap the... Now, I might have to swap more pieces than I thought, but yeah, I will. So the heads come off easily. They're just on these pegs. The pegs actually come off as well because the goblin needs the goblin one. The dwarf needs what's called the dwarf head peg. So this is a little bit different, and I'll show you what I mean when I pop it off here. If I pop it off, watch it be too stuck so that I can't get it. No, it came off. Came off easy. So you can see that these are different. So the goblin one is just sort of a vertical. It's just a straight vertical. The dwarf sort of has an angle, and the reason for that is it allows their beard to sort of clear the body a little bit better and look a little bit lower, a little more stout on the body. As I mentioned, this collar can just pop off. So I'll just show you that since I have the head off. This could just swap straight over onto this one, just like so, if you so desired. Then, you know, we can put the neck on that one, put the head on, away you go. So now, you know, they've swapped armor. My uneven surface and these unheated joints aren't working with me. They're working against me a little bit. Neck peg on, head on. Oh, that looks badass, actually. That looks really good. I like this head more on this body. But anyway, the other thing that you can really, or the other sort of quick thing that I wanted to show you is that you can just pop the torso off. You can, I promise. Hold on. There we go. His head popped off while I was doing it. You can pop the torso off, which means you could pop this off. And I lost, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Lost his horn as well. We can do the same with this guy, and I bet his head's going to pop off as well. Oh, no, that was an easy one. Very quick and easy. We've swapped a couple parts, changed some of the colors up, and you've effectively got a different figure. And it's that easy. So if you buy this one's not going on as easy. So just hold on. There we go. I don't know if you heard that nice pop. But yeah, just like that, a little bit of a swap, nothing crazy. Couple of minutes, change the characters. I actually, you know what, this helmet matches this armor better too. But yeah, just that easy. Which is kind of one of the things that's really, really fun about Mythic Legions is that, you know, you can mix and match, create your own characters. You know, if you don't like a head sculpt, but you love a body, you just swap them out and away you go. Miko said, unboxing my Krampus at the same time. That's a great, I unboxed my Krampus just the other day. He's actually hanging out just in the off camera. And I'll just sneak him in over here. I changed the angle, but anyway, you get the point. I'll tuck him over here, and when I change the angle again, you'll be able to see him. But anyway, that's these guys, and then the pauldrons go on. I'll put these pauldrons on this guy just to show you. So like I showed you on the back, he's got holes in the back there, which are for, you know, mounting the different stuff. The trick with these is really getting the angle right, and then they just typically once you get the angle right, they just pop right in. So there you go. I got a nice positive sounding pop that's sort of indicating. Let me see if I can hold it close enough and do it that you'll be able to hear it. Do you hear that? I don't know if that's audible, but I could get this guy's accessories going here so you can sort of get an idea of size-wise what they look like with some of the stuff in hand. they're just really fun little figures to mess around with and play with. And the part of the fun with Mythic Legions is that there isn't a ton of lore, so you can kind of make it up for yourself as you go along. Or at least for me, that's part of the fun. Everybody's different. I mean, some people want more lore. Some people don't need it. But yeah, whatever floats your boat, I suppose. I'm gonna give this guy these dual blades because, like I said, they're one of my more preferred weapons. And they can hold them too, and I won't bother doing it because it takes a little bit more posing, but they can hold it when I showed you sort of as a staff. He can hold it that way as well. We'll just very quickly get him in a appropriate sort of standing pose where he can just hang out and not be too much in the way. I'm gonna put pauldrons on. Well, no, I don't. I don't think I can fit. I don't think I can fit the pauldrons on with the shell on the back. I'll experiment with that later, but for the sake of expediency, I'm not going to bother with that tonight. Next up, we will get the half giant out of the box here, because that's as I said, that's my most anticipated for these guys. I've mixed these all up, so I got parts all over the place. But anyway, let's get this guy out of the box. Now, this guy has some... this guy's got some plastic keeping him in the bubble, so I will cut that off and pull this out. So this is obviously not sort of a bubble. This is a full box. But still same idea. So he's got the faction sigil on the one side, picture and half giant Legion builder on the back. Similar mythology, similar art to what we saw with the other figures. Not the same, mind you. It is different art because it is the half giant art. That's sort of all the Legion builders apart from the giant. I think, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. That's if you look sort of right in the center there, those two pieces overlap. I'm doing a terrible job of overlapping them, but so this is effectively like one piece of art that they've cut into two to fit on the back here. But the art's fantastic. Nate Barch does a fantastic job with the art. It's always good. There's always lots of little like Easter eggs and stuff. When this wave came out, we got this little goblin here. This little goblin came in a wave after that, and this little goblin we haven't gotten yet. It's like the Three Little Pigs. I sound like I'm doing Three Little Pigs. It sounds like this is a bit, but it's not. But anyway, so there's more art. There's some of the art that's on the other card as well. But anyway, the box is not the exciting part. That's not what we're here for. I will. He comes in his plastic there. Again, we get the bag with the accessories. The Easter egg in here. If you're at all familiar with Mythic Legions, you will know that that is in fact Blue Hagnon, which is a figure that doesn't exist except in one. There is one copy in existence in the world, and it exists at the Force Horseman studio only. They have not released that figure. There is a Hagnon, but it is not that Hagnon. Okay. Now to get this guy out of here. So like I said, normally they have twist ties. This guy, on the other hand, has, I don't know how well you can sort of see it in there, but he's got like he's got the plastic little thing. So I got to cut those. for which I will use my Leatherman. And I'm left-handed, so normally I do this with my left hand, so I'm going to try to get it out with this hand while I hold the figure with the other hand. And carefully cut these as not to scuff or scratch any paint. Easier said than done. David Williams says, "Get the hairdryer ready for that big guy." Oh, is he the half giant? Are these got stiff joints on here? He's been here for a while, and it's pretty warm in my office, so I'm hoping that although I'm not supremely confident, but I'm hoping he's been in here long enough that maybe the joints are okay. I'm not going to do any crazy posing with him or anything, so I'm not too worried about that. I mean, they all get heat before I pose them. And knock on wood, so far I haven't had anything break because of my idiocy, at least. So the irony about the twist ties is that, like, they take time to take out, but these are way more frustrating. These are way more annoying. These little tabs are way more annoying. The pauldrons are a little tough without heat. Oh, okay. The accessory pack pauldrons, because the half giant doesn't come with pauldrons. The head, I got the head separate from a friend because I'm too cheap to shell out for the full accessory pack. Although having seen it, it'll be down to sort of how much I love this half giant as to whether or not I actually get the full accessory pack and probably another half giant. But he is a big boy, though. That's the reason I'm doing this off camera there is because I don't have enough room. Didn't have enough room in front of me to get him out of the box because he is, as his name implies, a half giant, and he is much bigger than these guys are. I mean, as you can see, he's nearly, twice the height, and he doesn't even fit in frame. Okay, well, we'll alleviate that. He's big. He is a tall boy. And he needs room. He needs room because he's big. Okay, so the half giant we get, he's got sort of the standard ogre scale stuff going on with the harness. This is effectively like the same as the green version of the giant, just with human skin tone as opposed to the green skin tone. He does have a nice fur piece underneath his sort of skirting there. It's got this nice kind of gladiator look with the plastic bit, and then that fur just sort of adds some texture, adds some fun. But yeah, he is a big boy. He's thick, he's heavy. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This is my first ogre scale figure, so I'm very pleased with how big he is. And I'm not going to try to bend the joints because I can feel that they don't want to go, and I don't want to force them. Well, this one's not as bad. Again, the single jointed. There is rotation at the cuff, rotation at the wrist. It is an articulated wrist as well. I don't want to force it because I don't want to break it, being my first ogre scale figure. But yeah, the pauldrons on the giant. Yeah, so he's got the same thing going on as the other guys. There's holes in the back for pauldrons. The accessory pack that is available for these guys comes with this head as well as some pauldrons and a different strap instead of that one. He comes with these alternate wrist cuffs as well. So if you don't like this sort of armored piece, you can run these. Now hands very often are pretty easy to get off. So I'll just quickly see if I can get one off to show you. And it works exactly the same on these little guys, and it works exactly the same on Krampus. Like I said, if you're not familiar with Mythic Legions, anything that's the same size body, and all three of these guys are actually 1.0, even though, so that's a good example. I'll pull one of those in a second, take a look. But this guy is technically the same size body as this, even though he's got short stubby legs and short stubby arms. All the parts are interchangeable. So if I wanted to put that armor on Krampus, I could absolutely do that. Once I'm done with this guy, I'll actually swap the heads so that you can sort of see what I'm talking about. But if anybody that's, in this scale, like I said, there's a green version. You can just swap them. And this, as I said, this little wrist cuff's going to come right off of that arm. You could run it without anything, which actually I think kind of looks cool. But for the sake of why I took this off, why don't I just put this one on? And I feel like there is a right way to do this. I'm trying to figure out the right way to fit this on. Is that the right way to fit it on? I have no idea. Anyway, that you can see, the hands are a little bit mushroomed. This is true of all of them. I'll see if I can get that guy to stand, not knock anybody over. They're a little bit mushroomed, so that once they get in, they're in there and they're nice and snug. David said the head shouldn't give any trouble. No, that's the sort of the nice thing is even if you just want to swap heads, they're almost always really easy to swap. Okay, I don't like how this cuff's sitting, so I'm actually just going to take it off. Because I'm also curious. Yeah, that looks cool even just without any armor. I don't think I've seen that without any armor. I've always seen with one or the other pull, or like wrist gauntlet, but I think that looks kind of cool. But let's just put that back on. I'll mess around with it sort of once I'm not sort of trying to do this quickly. The heads, though, as David mentioned, should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. They just pop right off. Super, super easy. They're just on a ball, as were the 1.0 guys. And boy, does he look good with that head. Now I know that this half giant is meant to be House of Noble Bear as far as his faction. But with those antlers, for me, as a Xylona's flock fan, he's gonna be a protector of the forest for sure. So we also get these axes, and there's a couple options in here. So you get this longer one with 4 blades on the end, and then a shorter one with a single blade. But they are, of course, as almost everything Mythic Legions, modular. So this is going to come off like this. This will peg in here. Put this on top. And now you've got a very long axe to go with a pretty long axe. This is, of course, swappable as well. So we can run this as a shorter version. This one has a longer version. You can do whatever you want. I guess that's the point, is that you can do whatever you want. They're modular. They're interchangeable. They're a ton of fun. They are Mythic Legions. If you haven't had a Mythic Legions in hand, you really can't appreciate just how much fun they are to pose and to play with and to just mess around with. Dang, this guy is fun. This guy's huge too. I knew he was big, but I didn't anticipate that he would feel so chunky in hand. And he doesn't even fit in frame with that head. Like that's, I mean, I'm trying to get these guys sort of all, with all their kit, all their gear, sort of in frame, in shot, and it's not easy. Because this guy's too dang tall. Anyway, there they are. That's those are my Deluxe Legion Builders. And Krampus. He's not a Deluxe Legion Builder, but these guys are a ton of fun. As I said, if you've never purchased a Mythic Legions, if you've never had one of these guys in hand, I would strongly recommend you grab one. Maybe you grab Red Krampus from a retailer. Maybe you grab one of the Deluxe Legion Builders because they're a pretty decent price point. They're definitely a line though, and I will warn you, they are definitely a line that if you get one, you will not be able to stop. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but anyway. Thank you guys for joining me unboxing these. I'll probably be unboxing something else tomorrow. Might be a little bit later because I've got some plans in the evening. But hopefully you guys can join me for that as well. And don't know if I'm doing any videos on Christmas Eve. We will see. I might do another unboxing. I don't know what I'm going to unbox. I still got a pile of toys next to me that I can get through. So stay tuned. But if you enjoyed this, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when I'm going to be doing these, hit that notification button. To me, the notification button is sort of the most important for stuff that I follow, because that way I know that people are putting out videos that I want to watch. So go ahead and hit those. Hopefully you'll tune in again next time. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful holiday season. Good night.